And if you put me back in the White House, their reign is over. Their reign will be over. And they know it. And America will be a free nation once again. We're not a free nation right now. We don't have free press. We don't have free anything. In 2016, I declared, I am your voice. Today I add, I am your warrior. I am your justice. And for those who have been wronged and betrayed, I am your retribution. I am your retribution. Not going to let this happen.
The disgraced former president, Donald Trump, not even hiding his interest and his desire to be that kind of fascist authoritarian, being proud of the American citizens that he arrested or gassed and took off the streets when they were just exercising their right to free speech. He's referred to the fact that there's no free press, and what of course he means is that conservative news organizations are being called out. It's so interesting to me how somebody can be so blind to their own fascistic tendencies, that he can be so proud of all of these things that he claims to have achieved without any knowledge of history or understanding that all of these things put him into a certain category, a category of an extremist, a category of a far-right Christian nationalist. I mean, that's kind of an insult to Christians, so I do apologize. But, he certainly claims to want to be in the same camp as those who even believe in God. I mean, he doesn't have time to even think about a God because he thinks he is the God. And that is so clear in his CPAC speech that it's the old conversations time and time again. Hunter Biden's laptop, Russia, 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 referring to all of these investigations as a hoax and saying that only he can save America. I mean, there has to come a point where Republicans and conservatives who have stuck with him for the last 2 or 3 times begin to realize that he is not the success story that he claims, and that as these investigations start to kind of become more clear and enter the public domain, that really he does not have the truth on his side. And there's only so many times you can have your kind of superstar leader of the Republican Party lose. Losing in 2020, losing at the midterms. He is now becoming the Republican loser, and yet he is polling higher than all the other candidates that are announcing to run for president. Even Ron DeSantis, who's not announced. Donald Trump is polling at least double Ron DeSantis. Nikki Haley right down the bottom. And interestingly, Nikki Haley performed to a very small crowd. And I use the word perform on purpose, because really that's all we're looking at here. These are performances. They're not based in truth. They have no bearing on reality. These are theatrical performances by increasingly theatrical performers. Donald Trump has mastered the art. He is a better public speaker than Joe Biden, but he doesn't have the knowledge, he doesn't have the experience, and he doesn't have the social conscience to be a president for all people. And we saw that during his 4 years, and that is what you would only see again. And, interestingly, I speak as somebody who comes from a very, non-partisan place. I don't get to vote in the United States, but I do recognize the importance of freedom, the importance of democracy, and the importance of anti-fascism. If that makes me Antifa, then so be it. But to call out an authoritarian character, somebody who is sharing a stage with Jair Bolsonaro, and the types of people who have modeled themselves on Donald Trump as this demagogue. That is the reality of CPAC this year, that it's all eyes on Trump, and yet Trump is being investigated for multiple crimes. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office is presenting evidence to a grand jury in connection with Trump's role in a hush money payment to Stormy Daniels, as you know. while a state prosecutor in Georgia is weighing if Trump tried to overturn the 2020 election results in that state. And the Justice Department is also looking into the 2020 election, as well as Trump's possible mishandling of classified documents. And there's a rape claim against the former president, and that's headed for trial in April. And Trump is fighting a grab bag of other lawsuits that could financially harm his international real estate and golf resort empire. I mean, it's not like there's just one case that is chasing him. People are approaching him from all directions, even for music copyright infringement. And so one of these will stick, if not multiple cases will stick. And with Jack Smith, the special prosecutor, now focusing in, subpoenaing people such as Mike Pence, who makes up some weird excuse for the reason why he shouldn't be subpoenaed. I mean, Trump and his surrogates have been playing and dancing to their own tune and thinking that the rules of the United States do not apply to them. And they will get a wake-up call when they realize that they can't call themselves president and call themselves vice president forever, that their executive privilege was only a temporary thing, and that actually they can't keep running away and raising money in the meantime to try and deny the truth from getting out. And that really is the thing that, truth is that kind of word that sums up this whole scenario, because as Donald Trump stands there at this conference, he is preaching to an audience, many of whom have no idea about some of these investigations, because they exclusively watch propaganda channels that talk about a narrative that is, puts Donald Trump in a better light. And that really is the worry for me as a journalist, is that the free press is only free if everybody is getting a sense of the truth of what is really happening. And if you live in your bubble, and if you are isolated from reality, and if you only subscribe to right-wing memes and news channels and propaganda that you think is the truth, then you will feel angry when Jack Smith or Merrick Garland or the Southern District of New York come after your leader. You will feel aggrieved. You will, in some cases, people will take matters into their own hands, because to them this comes as a surprise. This is new. And the reality is it's not new. The Mueller investigation was a real thing. Trump claimed he'd been exonerated, but that is not what the Mueller report said. And so his version and his surrogate's version of the truth, sadly, is what many of his supporters, that's only what they're exposed to. And with that in mind, we have to recognize that Trump is the king of his castle. And all of these people that support him, they genuinely believe that he is their man and he is speaking the truth. But the sadness is that their truth exists in a bubble, separated from reality. I'm Anthony Davis. You can hear me every day on the 5-Minute News podcast, on Sundays on the Weekend Show with MeidasTouch. And for more videos, subscribe to my Patreon at patreon.com/5Minute News.
The best part of waking up? MAGA tears in my cup. Check out the new MAGA tears mug available now at store.MeidasTouch.com. That's store.MeidasTouch.com. It's 100% union made right here in the USA. I know I'm not tired of winning yet. How about you? Get yours today.